Tell me about air motion.
Sure. Well, there are a number of gestures that we have been able to build in because of the sensors.
Comparison.
You know, we take advantage of the
HTC
fact there's a
versus the
front-facing
Galaxy
camera,
Note
for example, to keep
2.
the screen on, and that's something that folks that are
The sound
familiar
you're
with
hearing right
Galaxy
now
S3
is the
or
Galaxy Note 2.
will recognize. But we've
So
also
I'll
been
hear
able
that
to
for a
use
little bit, then I'll
sensors
switch
that
it off
allow
and
you to
turn on
actually
the sound
gesture
for
at the phone to either
HTC
turn it
One.
on, or to show notifications, or to without actually having to touch the phone. The advantage being, you know, the less touching, the less accumulation of fingerprints on the screen and that kind of thing.
So show me an example of that with your fancy little windowed case you've got over there.
Sure. Well, for example, I mean, even with the windowed case, there's a slight magnetic sensor in here, and so you can see that I have a home screen. Then when I close the home screen, I don't have to keep the screen on constantly, so I'm not draining the whole battery, but it is giving me, you know, basic information. If a call comes in, I can actually swipe from left to right, and it'll receive that call.
Very, very
Or
cool.
when the screen dims out. Wave over the phone, and suddenly, you know, information will appear that shows me whether I have messages or phone calls received, battery information, other things that I could set up.
Great for if you're in a meeting. So, for example, right now, while you're supposed to be talking to me, you could have just as easily been checking your text
I
messages.
could have been. And I wasn't doing that, though. Really, I wasn't.
I'm not sure if I believe you. Tell me about S-Health.
Sure. Well, another, you know, advantage of having a device with you all the time would be or another application or use case would be in monitoring your activity level,
both at the same time.
the kinds of food and the calories that you're taking in, and you know what we noticed is that there are a number of applications that are out there which are good, but they're all kind of in and of themselves somewhat fragmented. So our idea was to create a widget or a hub that would allow you know, all these data sources to come together so that you could get a meaningful way of keeping track of it.
So you get your pedometer, you get your caloric intake, you can log your exercise. You can even take pictures of your food and log it in there, am I right?
That's right. In fact, and that's one thing that we noticed with some of the applications, such as barcode readers and sort of thing, that you weren't able to sort of customize. So if you didn't happen to be eating the food that was served by that program, for example, there's no way to put that in. So, you know, we try to allow people to customize apps, and that's an example.
Okay, camera is another part of the whole with you all the time, part of your life thing. What have you guys done to make the camera dramatically better?
Sure, and
it's kind of noisy on the Galaxy Note 2.
So it happens to have a 13 megapixel camera, which will be interesting, but
it's much more clear on the HTC One.
So
sound definitely goes to the
if you're
HTC
anything like
One.
me, and if you take a lot of pictures,
Picture
you're
quality,
not in pictures very often.
it's a 1080p
so being
screen.
able to take a picture simultaneously,
I like the saturated colors on the
that
Galaxy Note 2.
Taking a picture with the rear-facing and the front-facing
compared to the, like, you know,
is something that you can do, something that we
kind
call
of
dual
light
shot.
colors.
Does that work with
on the HTC
video
One.
as well?
It does. So, for example,
Well, it's a quick little comparison.
on the Hero roller coaster, and
The
you want to see
sound,
your own reaction as
and
you're
video,
going down, you'd be able to take a
HTC
video
One
of
versus
the
the
actual
Galaxy
roller
Note
coaster
2.
experience and your
Subscribe,
reaction
comment,
to
like,
being on the
share.
roller coaster at the same time.
Peace.